Why? Hey guys, I'm on. I want to be your friend, and it is out. It is out. It is out. It is out. We got the scams, and I think it's safe to confirm that this is official. Also, if you read the title, which you should have, this is going to be my last video on StarTwinkle before the end of this year. That doesn't mean it's going to be my last video in general or my last video for this year. It just means I'm not going to make any more StarTwinkle videos until January. So if any more news comes out, it's going to be late. So, yeah. Alright, so now to analyze. Alright, so as you can see from a scan I'm showing right now, this was released to preview the newest, I guess you could say, like, Dream Stars movie, since All Stars is dead now. And as far as I'm aware, this movie is actually going to tell the origin story of the Miracle Lights, which should have been a thing in the S5 movie, but hey, at least we're getting an explanation for that stupid MacGuffin that I hate with all my soul. Now, there are a lot of things about these scans to gather up, and I really hope this video isn't going to be like an hour long because of it. So I'm going to do character analyzations and see if I can pick up anything about the storyline, because we don't have anything on the storyline yet, but we'll just see what I can get. So first up is Hikaru Hoshina, and her confirmed cure name is Cure Star. Hikaru comes from the word Hikari, meaning light or radiance, but in this case it would mean to shine. And Hoshina it doesn't have a really big meaning, but it has the word Hoshi, and that means star. So that means Hikaru Hoshina's name is Shining Star. We're not there yet. Now, star means a fixed luminous point in the night sky that is a large, remote, incandescent body like the sun. Galileo! Now, I'm not going to get too much into her design because I did that already, like, twice. But one thing I'm going to say that I was wrong on a few things, like her earrings being telescopes. They're clearly not. And that Earth on her head is not Earth, but just an orb that is most likely a star, hence her name. So, as you can see right now, what I'm showing you is Yell and Star next to each other being dorks to follow up on a very popular All Stars trope. Next up is Lala Hagoromo, and her cure name is Cure Milky. Why? Why? Just why? For what reason would you name her Milky? Like, is it supposed to be based off of the Milky Way? Because that is a pretty bad name for the Milky Way. Like, do you know how many meanings that can mean? Do you know how weird that sounds? Look, if you want something to represent the Milky Way, 3 things you can do. 1, actually have her name be Milky Way. It's not that complicated, because guess what? Machiri is actually 2 words. So, I don't see what the problem is. Secondly, give her a different name. Now, 2 other names for that. Galaxy, which is what the Milky Way is. Our galaxy, the galaxy that we live in. Or Cure Universe. And the universe is what holds all the galaxies. You know? Now, Lala is actually a Hawaiian name, meaning famous or cheerful. And Hagoromo means climax. So that means her name is Famous Climax. And that could mean that she is the driving plot of this entire story. And she's the reason why everybody who becomes a cure is going to become a cure. Now, if you haven't noticed it by now, she has elf ears, which could mean that she is possibly an alien, and that also supports the fact that her name is Famous Climax and she could be the driving force of this entire thing. I'm assuming she might be a princess, but I'm hoping that she's a tomboy at the same time, because I don't want to see another happy-go-lucky character right now. Like, I would like them to be positive, just not happy-go-lucky, like every single freaking leader that we have seen in this series by far. Now, as I established, comes from the word Milky Way, and it literally means the galaxy that contains our solar system. Third up is Elena Mamiya, and her name is Cure Soliel.
I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
It took 15 years, but we're finally here. Our first diverse cure. It's a lot to take in, actually. Okay, so it's a little inaccurate to say that she is the first diverse cure, because we have biracial cures, and what her name suggests is that she is a biracial cure. But just looking at her, it's just like, oh my god, she's not freaking white as snow or whatever. This is just like a really exciting moment, because we have so many cures that just look white. They're just so freaking white, and it's so annoying, and it's really nice to see a change. So Elena has multiple origins, but it all has the same meaning. It means bright or shining one. And Amamiya means rain shrine. And both of those are kind of a reference and a foreshadow to her cure name, which I mispronounced earlier, Soleil. Now, Soleil is a French word for the sun. So this is how her name is a reference to that. Elena means bright or shining one, and the sun is obviously bright. It's not the brightest star in the sky, but it looks really bright because it's just closer to our planet. Now, rain shrine. Here's the reason for that. It's the process of the rain cycle, which cannot happen without heat, because the heat from the sun evaporates the water, and then the water forms into clouds, and the clouds will rain down. None of this can be possible without two elements, heat and water, and heat is coming from the sun. Now, with shrine, this is obviously a reference to her race, because when people make shrines, it's usually to represent a person or some symbol that is greatly respected. It's like saying that her past is a part of her, and that's not wrong, because she's probably biracial. And I would like to say she's Melanesian because she's blonde, but she could have dyed her hair as well, or it's just anime logic. But that's what her name means. The fourth and final cure is Madoka Kaguya, and she is Cure Celine. So Madoka means flower or circle, and Kaguya means night or light. So her name either means the night-lit flower or the night-lit circle. And I think that her name is actually going to be the circle spelling, because the night-lit circle makes a little bit more sense because she represents the moon. So Selene is actually the Greek goddess of the moon, and the name means brightness. Alright, so we have 2 fairies for this season, and their names are really hard to read. So if anybody has like the actual magazine of this, please say their actual names because I really want to know. But the fairy I've been calling Cosmic, their name is either Fua or Uda. And so Fua refers to like fluffiness, so a possible name is that their name is Fluffy. And Uda sounds like aura, so their name could be Aura. I'm just gonna call them Aura until further confirmation. And then this thing, which looks like a pudding and a chow that came straight out of a Sonic game, which I've been calling UFO, is either one of 3 names. Furunsu, Purunsu, or Darunsu. I don't know which one is which. Can somebody please confirm this for me? Alright, so the last thing to say is the MacGuffin and the transformation device. So, the transformation device cannot be seen, but it's probably the book that Milky is holding. That, or it is the MacGuffin of this series, and old-time PreCure fans know that it is very common in PreCure to Pokemon the things to activate the all-powerful MacGuffin. So, the Pokemon of this series seem to be these pens that represent Zodiacs. And I say this because, well, I don't know who said this, but it was somebody on Amino, so credit to them. They noticed that the pen that is next to Star, it has Star inside of it, but it also has the Taurus symbol. And she looks different inside the pen, so it is a possibility that we're gonna have to Maho Sky all of this, and they're all gonna get different forms. It's also possible that the transformation device is this watch or the star pendants that they're all wearing on their chest, but that would be weird because they have the transformation packages that all cures are wearing to hold their transformation device, so it's really hard to say. I heard there's a rumor going around it's going to be a paint bottle, but hey, what do I know? Alright, so plot predictions. Basic PreCure stuff. Fairy's planet is being attacked by the enemy of this series. So in this case, the fairies are the mouse, the UFO, and Lala, if she is an alien. And they go down to Earth, or they crash down to Earth to find the legendary warriors PreCure, and in this case it would be Hikaru Hoshina, Elena Amamiya, and Madoka Kaguya. So, what I think is going to happen is that Lala is going to meet Hikaru, and then she's just going to be like, oh my god, this girl is great, why don't you become a PreCure? And then they'll fight as a duo for most of the series, and then Elena and Madoka will later join. That, or they're just gonna be an entire 4-cure series with all of them becoming their cure in their respective episodes next to each other. Alright, so I would like to say some downfalls that might happen in this series. First off, the theme. Now, I said this before, but it's been strongly established in the magazines that it's gonna be like galaxy and art themed. But like I said in like my previous 2 videos, I'm really scared that it's going to be idol themed, and idols are a really overused trope in magical girls, and I don't want to see that with this series, because it's just been going on for quite a long time. It resisted the temptation, and it poked fun at a few magical girl tropes, so I don't want that. And it might happen because I noticed that like the pen that Milky is holding looks somewhat like a microphone, and that scares me. But I'm just really hoping that it's not going to be idol themed. Secondly, their Cure civilian forms, they look exactly the same as each other. Like, they do have a little bit of their differences in there. Like, Hikaru looks like a strawberry farmer. Lala looks like a Pokemon trainer. Elena looks like a casual dressed American. And, Madoka looks like a character from Ghost Stories. But they look exactly the same. Like, not exactly the same, but they feel exactly the same. Like, if you would just, like, switch up their clothes a little bit, it wouldn't feel any different. And I'm really disappointed in that, because they all, like, all cures should have their own distinct, like, style for their civilian forms as well as their cure forms, because it's just a way to show that they're different, but they're still on the same team. I don't think they should look the same in their civilian forms, though. Not to mention the fact that, one, I hate Hikaru's hair, too. Lala and Madoka look almost exact. They have almost the exact same hairstyles as their cure forms. It's just that Lala is a little bit different because it has, like, halos and a star, and Madoka's hair is lighter. It's just something that really bothers me. Thirdly, like, Hikaru's name. Now, that's both of her names. So, Hikaru, I said this before in a previous video, but we already have a character in PreCure named Hikaru, but even if that character didn't exist, we still have Hikari. And they sound very similar, and that can cause a lot of problems, and that could cause, like, confusion within the fandom and a lot of people. It's just like, oh, have you heard of the new cure, Hikaru? And then old-time fans are just like, what are you talking about? Hikari has always been a cure. It's one letter off, and that can cause some problems. And the second problem about her name is Cure Star. Okay, so I think that this name is very bland, but also that her name is Star when the series is StarTwinkle. That could mean, like, the series is supposed to revolve around her, but it shouldn't, because PreCure is about a team, not about one person, and it shouldn't be. And I'll be very bothered if that's the case. That's the reason why her name is Cure Star. I don't want that. Fourthly is that Elena could be French. Now, there's no problem with French people. It's okay for her to be French. It doesn't really matter. But at this point in time, that trope's going to be really overused. My final problem is that Madoka looks a lot like Momoko Koi ga Kubo.
Fear not, the Lord God is with thee.
What do you know?
And God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Revelations 21:4.
Okay, but in all seriousness, Madoka looks a lot like a Mary Sue. That's a problem. And it's especially with the fact that Celine is a goddess, that could also be a problem. I mean, maybe it just means that she's also an alien, but it really does look like she's a Mary Sue. Now, in the first leak, it's just like, oh, she's probably just a really shy character. But now that this new art is released, she looks a lot like a Mary Sue. And we don't really like Mary Sues. They can be very annoying because they're just so perfect. And I really hope that Madoka is not a Mary Sue. But anyway, guys, that's all I really have to say about this so far. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if any more news comes out, my videos are going to be delayed until January. Now, my last video for this year will either be released tomorrow or on Christmas. So keep a lookout for that. And if you liked this video, then please comment, like, subscribe, share. I don't even care. Until next time, Bye-bye. I forgot where I was going with this.